Shh, you're going to have to be quiet now as I do my speech, son. Shh. You can't tone down the Asperger's there, buddy. Here's my speech. I'm not running to take votes from Obama. I know that Obama supporters are not capable of changing their minds. Their minds are owned and locked down by the duopolistic fundraising machine of the prison military-industrial complex, which frightens people into activization of their MK Ultra mind control programming. You must then give your campaign dollars to whichever party causes less fear in you, which is getting harder for the unemployed who fear unceasing unemployment to do, since they have no money. And as soon as they cease contributing money, their names will be wiped off the voter rolls and they will be subsequently disenfranchised as people who don't have big money for contributions to the duopolistic fundraising machine of the prison military-industrial complex are having happen to them right now by the hundreds of thousands in inner cities all over America, at the rate of hundreds of thousands of people per month. Frank Zappa, who was my friend, said that politics is just the entertainment arm of the Pentagon in 1990. We definitely do not have a serious choice in this election, beside me. Both parties are owned by bankers, and get this, these same bankers are the guys whom we owe the deficit to. And I am the only serious comedian in this presidential race. I am a comedian. Did you not know I was a comedian?
Oh.
What did you think I was?
A president.
A president, thank you.
I like that.
Well,
Same.
No, no, and I do address that further, Cosmo. Thank you for bringing that up. The prison military-industrial complex, thank you, President Eisenhower, for coining that, profits the Pentagon and all military contractors who work for it. And ironically, it is also they who decide what is seen on media. They also own subsidiary profits, blah, 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 in the insurance industry that profits from treating the various cancers inflicted upon the public through hormone and antibiotic poisoning of the food supply, as well as the spraying of chemical poisons in the air in order to combat the global warming that they also insist does not exist.
Is that right?
It's kind of a rhyme.
Okay.
That's the Monsanto industrial complex.
I thought this was a speech, not a poem.
It is.
It is a speech.
It's a poet's speech. Not
It has some rhyme in it. Why are they doing this? Well, one explanation is population control, Agenda 21, and AFRICOM. You might want to look into that. Go ahead and Google it. Search it. Don't Google it. I should say search, because Google turns in dissidents to the government. So be careful. In China, not in the United States as yet, although they did sign the papers, and then they will be doing it soon enough. But anyway, these people, these same people, they have to speed up the killing as it's not going fast enough for them these days. And after all, the growing numbers of poor and dispossessed white, brown, and black workers, well, they might start to demand a share of the profits they produce. This is a travesty waiting to happen. A grave injustice in the eyes of the ruling classes, to be forced to share their booty with those they consider to be their slaves. That's impolite.
I'm not confused.
To those trapped in the Demopublican matrix, I say go ahead and waste your votes on Romney or on Obama. Go ahead. They won't be fairly counted anyway, so it doesn't matter in the least. And if it did, then the Electoral College would step up and choose Bush or whatever bot they wish to be in place to serve as the Manchurian who brings the world to World War III for the profits of the prison military-industrial complex. You people can definitely make a larger statement simply by withholding your vote. Doing nothing, as you are accustomed to doing by your masters, may indeed serve your interest this one time. Use it. My message is to the 51% of Americans who never vote, who know that this system is not broken but fixed, as in rigged, who never vote because they know it means less than nothing here to do so. Please, just this once, won't you register for the Peace and Freedom Party and cast your vote for me and for a great American mother, Cindy Sheehan, a peace activist, who's put her life and her body on the line in the name of her son Casey, who served this country and was killed on its battlefield. Democracy, let's try it. Let's give it a chance. Join me as I'm the nominee of the Peace and Freedom Party for President of the United States. What matters is not that I win or that I lose, but that I have the freedom to run and to be on the ballot. And that you people have the right to vote for a party not owned by bankers who seek a profit from your demise. I ask for your names, whether you be right, left, or middle. I just seek your agreement that this country's government has been hijacked, but can be improved immediately by fair representation of the people. Quiet, please! As Thomas Jefferson said, governments derive their power from the consent of the governed. And when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to break the ties that bind them to those who oppose their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, under fair and equitable law that values their lives, their work, and their stake in liberty itself, that those bonds be addressed. I am a serious citizen who has questions and also some answers for the people of the United States, and on their behalf, these are the statements I want to make to the leaders and the government of the United States of America. Number one, we are anything but united, and we are not united behind you. You have impoverished us by theft, graft, by grifters, right after Bush deregulated the law so that people could not file bankruptcy. Right after that, the housing markets collapsed, and Americans, a significant percentage of whom had sent their own children to war in Iraq on behalf of freedom and democracy, lost their homes. You seek to set us upon each other by allowing the most insane among us to easily and freely purchase assault weapons. Then you blame the gays or the immigrants or the needy so that they can be targeted and attacked to keep the heat off of you and your scams for profit. Number three, you guys are not good public servants at all. And you are not loyal servants either. You steal from the houses that employ you. Well, here's a tip from one of your customers. Get out of the servant business. You're not good at it. It's not for you. Other persons who are in the service industries are ashamed of you. You make honest work into a joke. I'm the only serious comedian in this campaign. Most of the others are just clowns. Clowns who lie to the American people to trick them out of their Social Security, their Medicaid, their retirement benefits, their homes. Clowns, big fat radio clowns who tell the starving to tighten their belts. Rush Limbaugh calls himself a comedian. Well, Rush, I am a comedian who knew George Carlin, who knew Richard Pryor, and I have to say to you, sir, you are no comedian. Oh, is this still working? Because the screen went off again.
Yeah, that's still on.
So I can't see anything now.
No, just the output.
Oh, it says Jake password.
It's just the screensaver mode.
I know, but I like to see myself because I'm so narcissistic.
Well, you know what you could do is just every few minutes, just rub the mouse.
That's what she said. I'm sorry. The comedian's getting up. Where's your kids?
In there. They're watching.
Hey, what happened to your kids?
I don't know.
Where'd they go?
They're in the living room.
I don't hear them screaming. Are they all right?
I put food in their mouths.
Oh, okay. All comedians know that a good joke doesn't work without a ring of truth to it. The job of the comedian is to wrest the truth from a premise and to juxtapose it in such a way as to speak it to people so that it's clearly understood. The response to a good joke is laughter. And yes, some comedians just go for the laugh. However, there is another kind of comedy. There's the kind that speaks truth to power and not to pacify its victims.
Yeah.
That is the difference between a serious comedian and a clown. In the courts of kings, where the comedian, jester, fool was considered to be a shaman, the only one allowed to address the king in front of all the people and tell him the truth about himself on their behalf, many jesters went too far and lost their heads. Literally, being a comedian is not one of the best and safest ways to make a living. To that I can attest. But many jesters were able to craft a message so concise that it was actually one that moved power to act in the people's interests. And in many, many cases, that was indeed the outcome of some well-placed words. To that end, I say, to the emperors, you, sir, you are naked. You need to go back into your home and put your pants back on and zip them all the way up. You see, all the way up. And figure out why you are a predator rather than a decent citizen of this world. Please do that. Please do that quickly. You are an elected official of the public, not a lobbyist for Wall Street, you see. You are not a lobbyist for Wall Street and its nonstop agenda of war, slavery, and usury, which funds false science, division, and hatred for the profits of a few at the expense of the many. Sirs and madams, certainly not ladies and gentlemen, as that implies some semblance of civility, you have enriched yourselves at the expense of the American people, of its workers, its unions, its rights, and its liberties. And there is no liberty without truth. Mary Daly wrote that. We must stop the prison military-industrial complex in California. We must remain on the ballot. We must end the drug war so that American children are not prey any longer to be arrested for a joint and sent to prison to make paint. 90% of the house paint sold in America was made by American prison labor. Can you say privatized prisons, boys and girls? Can you say Bergen-Belsen? Can you say Buchenwald? They were indeed privatized prisons, and when the workers became too weak or too starved, they were moved to neighboring Auschwitz and ground up for fertilizer and soap. Auschwitz is the blueprint of corporate socialism. Well, here's some news for you, repubs. Let me get my little Republican puppet here so I can deliver the message to him. You are trafe, sir. I say to you, government is not supposed to be run like a business, sir. Government is what is supposed to protect people from fat cat pigs, such as yourself, on Wall Street. Remember sanity. Socialism brings it. Sharing is what socialism is about. And it brings prosperity, liberty, and a middle class. Not Wall Street! You can't eat money. Oh. But the people who own this country, those who talk nonstop about their God, who is money, are very, very devout. They are fundamentalists. They are fundamentalist free market capitalists, which means those who have no compunction profiting from slavery, war, or usury. I hope that's not the bad guys. Oh wait, it's their day. Anyway, we need a wall between those people's religion and our laws, you see. I say we must end slavery now, as that will make every war unnecessary forever. These are like the simple planks in my platform, and I've given them a lot of thought as to devising solutions to create a world of peace and of justice. Wars are only waged in order to arrest and hold laborers. That's how Germany built the V-2 rocket. But this is not Germany, or is it? No, this is the United States of America, and we are the Americans. Even you, sir, are an American. Those who have lost confidence in their leaders of this nation, that's what an American is. And for their unfettered war against living human beings around the globe who are counted as not human beings at all, but as collateral damage. This is how Germany built the V-2 rocket. But this is not Germany, or is it? No, this is the United States of America, and we are the Americans. We are those who have lost confidence in the leaders of this nation for their unfettered war against living human beings around the globe, who are counted as not human beings but as collateral damage. My conscience has moved me to speak on behalf of the children of this world and of their mother's plight and of the bravery of the men who love both. I am running on a platform of truth, and I am also the first candidate to sign the Truth Pledge, that I will never lie to the American people, and I challenge all the other candidates to sign this pledge with me, much as the pledge required by Grover Norquist was signed by all Republicans and Blue Dog Democrats, that states no matter how bad it gets for the parents of the American heroes who went to war in Iraq, no matter how much they suffer, taxes will never be raised on the upper 1% of 1% of 1%, which is who are the billionaires, who are at fault for every problem on the face of this earth and could easily fix it if only they had souls that were capable of change or capable of being reached. And it is to that end that I also make this broadcast tonight. Corporate socialism is halfway socialism. That's why it doesn't work. It's a huge Ponzi scheme. That's why they tell everybody that, this big socialist government doesn't work, when it actually does work, as attested to by Social Security and Medicaid for all of these years, Medicare for all of these decades. What doesn't work is when they when they try to hybrid an economic system by pasting two opposing systems together. That isn't going to work. That is where they socialize all the risk and privatize all the profits, where they take the public money off the tables where it's apportioned and put it into private pockets. And then make the American people bear the cost for the privatization of those profits. So you're paying like 3 or 4 times more than you should. And the bad part of it is that socialism means you get something back for your taxes, and they've taken that away too. So let's be very, very clear. This system is heads they win, tails we lose. rigged and fixed from top to bottom, from the Electoral College, which is the true 1%, be very clear about that, to the Federal Reserve. Same people. Those are the ones who tell us that debt slavery is freedom. Not too far from this. Work makes free. To borrow a line from a First Lady of the United States, just say no. We cannot allow the prison military industrial complex to use racial profiling in order to arrest youth of working class and middle class as well backgrounds, so that they can become the manufacturing base for a corporate currency. We must not allow ourselves to disappear into obscurity through factionalization and marginalization over and over again. Let's seize this time. Let's seize this time by seizing the narrative. I really ask for the unity and coming together and building of a broad coalition of all third parties and anyone who agrees with anything that I'm saying here tonight. Let's find common ground. Let's build our numbers. Let's do what we have to do in order to take back our government and have true representational, have true representation instead of what we have now. Representation without taxation in the halls of Senate and Congress. Let's get busy laughing the, no, I missed a line here. Any election narrative that lacks the very element, socialism, that builds progress and prosperity in this country is a joke. Everybody knows you move money from the top to the middle if you want a middle class. Everybody knows that. Let's roll. Let's get busy laughing the neocon narrative to scorn in all media. Let's laugh the liberal agenda to scorn, especially in California, where most of the comedians are. And also in New York, where the political comedians are right now still occupying at OWS. Laugh your government to scorn this election. Elect me and Cindy Sheehan. Times are tough, but Cindy and I are tougher. We're not clowning around. We are serious about peace and about freedom. Please register for the Peace and Freedom Party and strive to bring true representational government so that it will not perish from the earth to the United States of America and everywhere else where they vote. And to demand that the votes be fairly counted, in order to dissolve a winner-take-all system of counting the votes, which is not democratic or representational. As the despot Stalin said, it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. And all those things are concerns from the top to the bottom, and all of those things are part of my platform for President of the United States. I'm not joking around. Thank you.